That's bad.
Today we are trying to get the Mustang fixed. So a couple videos back, took it down the road and the thing hauled butt pretty good, but we learned that there's a few problems with it. One was the shifter wouldn't go into third. A couple days ago, Pops came over and he helped me get that lined up. Kind of a two-man job. Kind of hard to be up in the car and below it at the same time. So he came over and we went through all the gears, made sure that it was going into them all. We think we got that fixed. I haven't been able to take it out yet because since then I have started tearing it apart. My plan was to initially pull this turbo kit off and fix it and just make do with what I've got. However, on Marketplace there just so happened to be a guy selling a QuickTime turbo kit for one of these for a pretty darn cheap price. So I went and scooped that up, and today we're gonna get that thing thrown on. So first things first is try and tear this kit off the best we can, and it does not look like it's gonna be fun, to be honest. A lot of these bolts are kind of rusted. I've sprayed them with PB Blaster and let them sit for a couple days, and I still just don't know. So I think we just got to get to work and start pulling stuff off. I might start with the downpipe here because we're not going to use that. Once we get everything off, I'll show you the new kit, and we'll set them side by side and compare. But I think I might just take a Sawzall and cut this. And I say cut it because if you guys don't remember, they welded the downpipe right to the exhaust housing. I'm just gonna try to make sure to not catch any wires. We'll start hacking. Alright, got the turbo off finally. It was a bit of a pain, and this thing has seen better days. And it's pretty small. Yeah. It still spins nice and freely, but this blade is pretty beat up. I do really like that the feed and drain are on the same side. That's pretty neat. So I think I'm going to try to reuse this. The thing seemed to work really well, and just don't feel like spending the $400 or $500 right now. But I'm either going to find a new like exhaust flange, I guess, or try to clean this up so that I can get the V-band on it. Either way, I want to say, I looked up the specs at one point, and I want to say this is a 60mm turbo. So it's kind of small. So now I just need to get this crossover off. Probably cut the downpipe because I'm not going to be needing that. And then we can try and get these headers off. crossover is off, and this thing is a beaut. It did the job, that's all we can ask for, but I think it's about time we retire this whole thing. Take it out to the pasture, you know, take it to the farm, you know, where it'll be much happier. Unless anybody wants it. If anybody wants it, this and the headers that I'm about to pull off, you can have. Like, I might put them up on Marketplace for $100 and see what happens, but if any of you guys want them, come get them. I'm not going to ship them though. So now I'm going to try to pull these off. Hopefully the exhaust bolts come out pretty easy. I might hose them down real quick with some PB Blaster. Alright, so far 7 of the 8 exhaust bolts have been basically finger tight. So let's see if we can go for the gold and get all 8. This last one kind of sucks though. Oh, that one was tight. The hardest one to get to is the only one that was tight. What kind of backwards nonsense is that? Oh yeah. Hopefully you can see where at least part of the exhaust leak was coming from. And here's the other part of the gasket. Actually, it almost looks like 2 separate gaskets. Doesn't it? Yeah, that's just 2 separate gaskets on there. What the heck were they trying to do? And passenger side is also out. Maybe. It almost looks like they doubled up on the gasket over here too. Yeah, this side was leaking a little bit over here too. Well, I say a little bit, but that's almost half the port. Alright, so here is the complete turbo kit off the car. Looks like all they did was just flip them around and weld up some pieces from like AutoZone or Napa or something. And you know what? Respect. I respect it. If you're balling on a budget, that's the way to do it. No excuses, just make it work. And you know what? I bet the car partied when he was done with it. But for whatever reason, lately I've been trying to put cars together, you know, a little bit nicer than usual. So here's the new turbo kit. So this is a QuickTime kit that I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, someone will correct me. I'm pretty sure On 3 bought out QuickTime or something, rebranded, I don't know, something like that. But this is a QuickTime kit that I got for a couple $100, and the dude just had it ceramic coated, and then he changed his mind. He didn't want to go turbo anymore. He had it on the car, he ran it for a while, and he pulled it off to get it ceramic coated, and then he decided to put a blower on it. So, scooped it up for a couple $100, and it's in great shape, man. The V-bands make it so much nicer. I'm unsure about this flex joint. I'm typically not a fan of those flex joints, because sometimes if it's not one that has like the solid inside pipe, you know what I mean, then this mesh can actually come apart and go through your turbo and destroy your shit. So that's typically why I try to avoid them. Just there's some really nice ones out there. Hopefully this is one. I'd imagine it is. These QuickTime kits were like, I want to say $800-900 when they were new. Don't quote me on that. And then I do have the downpipe for it too, a 3-inch downpipe. So similar to what was on the car, just a little bit nicer. So I'll start throwing this on the car. So the first point of contact that I gotta get rid of is this chain that they have here for the motor. Looks like just 2 bolts hold it on. But yeah, right through here is right where the pipe wants to be. And the passenger side is hitting even more stuff. This is not looking good. This is not looking great. For Rick. Well, looks like I pull the alternator off to see if I can wiggle it past that, because I know it's hitting that. I might have to trim this mount here off the frame, which isn't a big deal. I'd rather not, but it isn't a big deal. And find a way to wrestle this friggin' thing in here, man. Alright, after messing with this thing a little bit longer, trying to figure out what is going on, I've come to a conclusion. The engine is 2 inches to passenger side. 2 inches. 2 1/8, actually. 2 1/8 inch offset. Well, 1 1/16 offset, but too many numbers, man. The engine's way the fuck over here, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not sure why. But, like, here, I'll give you a quick visual, because it's hard to measure. See? Hand, strut tower, valve cover. See? Whole freaking thing. And I've got big monster manly hands, too, alright? So let's not even go on about that. And then, look. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's way over here. And I don't know what to do about that. I could probably pull off this vacuum pump, which I think I'm going to have to do anyway. And I could smash in this header a bunch and make it clear things. Maybe? But I shouldn't have to. Like, I'm trying to rack my brain around how this thing can be offset so much. And a lot of times, engines in rear-wheel drive front engine cars are offset a little bit to like clear steering columns and stuff like that. So I looked up the factory spec. The factory spec from center is offset 5/8 of an inch. This is basically double that. We're 1 1/16, which is dramatic. If it was 5/8, I think it would fit no problem. I think I'm going to pull this vacuum pump off and maybe see if I can manipulate the motor mounts a little bit to shift it over a little bit. I might put a level on it to see, because it looks like this K-member, looks like those are slotted, perhaps. So maybe I can like tilt the motor, you know what I mean? I need to put a level on it to see if it is like, if this one's lower and this side's up, if it's tilted a little bit, because it'll do kind of like a bowl thing. So if we're kind of like this, then I can just loosen the motor mounts and shift it back center again. Hopefully that's all it is. So I'm going to try that real quick. Alright, so I'm starting to take stuff apart off this car so I can access things a little bit easier. And I pulled this vacuum reservoir off, and I started looking at it, and this is PVC. This is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inch diameter pipe with 2 end caps on it, and someone just tapped these holes and put like a valve cover breather in it and everything. That's genius. I'm not mad at all. I'm only impressed. That's awesome. That was incredible. All right, after a little bit of manipulation, a little persuasion, a little bit of the mallet, we got things in here. And unfortunately, I'm definitely not going to be able to run that vacuum pump. Not the end of the world, but kind of a bummer. And it looks like the alternator mount is going to interfere with the wastegate. Yeah, there's no way that's going to work. So I might look around, see if alternator mounts are pretty cheap for it. I might just pick up another one, and while I'm there, might pick up a power steering delete, because I've got that manual rack I can toss in it. Just to simplify things, this thing should steer no problem with a manual rack. And you know, like most Fox bodies, the power steering pump is always playing a tune of its own. But yeah, in place. Gonna have to move things a little bit. Gonna have to redo these lines. These are to the alternator. Just have to relocate them. So I can probably just undo all these clips and run it under the motor, something like that, so that it comes up through here to it. So that won't be a huge deal. Just trying to keep these out of the way for now. I do know that whatever I do, I want the car to hopefully be back on the road in the next week or so. It'd be cool to take it to one of the Father's Day car shows coming up. I might actually let my wife drive this, and I'll take the RX-7. We'll see. But now we can toss a turbo on and see how everything looks. This is the old turbo off James Brown that has definitely seen better days. But it's closer to the size of what I'd like to put on here at some point. So I know that if this one fits, which it should, it's just a 78, 75. So if this one fits, then any of the other ones that I might get, or tossing that one back on, will fit. I know that the clocking's nowhere near where it needs to be, but oh yeah, there's tons of room. There's so much room. Yeah, that'll work. I'm not super thrilled about running it like a 180 through here, but there's not really a whole lot of other choices. Because this thing did have this right here. Oh, the other one was more like that. I might cut like an inch or so off the end of this radiator hose so I can bring it forward, and then this little loop kick right here should fit perfectly around this housing. It'll pull it just a little bit. It'll still clear all this. It'll just be kind of like that, which should work out perfectly. Everything's looking good. I'm going to test fit the downpipe, and then we'll probably call it there, and I'm going to have to start looking for parts for it, which I was really hoping to avoid, but there's just no getting around that. Let me get the wastegate just to double check, but I don't think there's any way we can avoid that. And the wastegate I got is just a 50 millimeter eBay one. It's basically the same thing as the VS Racing ones, just without the little VS Racing stamped on there. You know, it might clear. We might get lucky. Oh, no shit. Oh, it clears. It just barely clears the body. No freaking way. That's huge. Huge. Oh my God. That makes me so happy. That makes me unbelievably happy. That's amazing. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. You could see how bad the exhaust leaks were. I mean, it disintegrated that gasket there. So once I get some of the stuff for this, I might still look into a power steering delete and just throw that other rack on it. Maybe. I don't know. I just really like simplicity. I definitely have to pull the vacuum pump off, a few other things. Might look into a turbo. But yeah, this is going to be a totally different car. I can't wait. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell. I'll see you next time.